Ladies and gentlemen, in a world that equates loudness with power, silence is often misunderstood. It's mistaken for weakness, passivity, or even a lack of intelligence. Yet for the woman who wields silence with intention, it becomes one of the most potent shields she can possess. Silence is not about shrinking away from confrontation or avoiding challenges. It's about knowing when to conserve energy and when to engage, using wisdom to distinguish between the two. When a silent woman chooses not to react to every insult or provocation, she is not backing down. She is making a conscious decision to protect her energy and focus. Responding to negativity often feeds it, escalating conflicts that do not deserve her time. Instead, silence acts as a shield, creating a boundary that protects her peace of mind. This is not submission, it's strategy. Silence lets her step back, observe, and assure that her actions align with her principles rather than fleeting emotions. Moreover, silence serves as a tool for self-preservation. In heated moments, when emotions run high, silence allows a person to regain control. It prevents knee-jerk reactions that could harm relationships or tarnish reputations. A silent woman can withstand criticism or negativity without being destabilized. She understands that the opinions of others do not define her worth, and she refuses to be drawn into unproductive disputes. Her silence is a form of self-respect, a way to prioritize her well-being over the chaos around her. Silence also has a way of unsettling others, particularly those who thrive on drama or conflict. When someone expects an argument or an emotional outburst, they are often disarmed by silence. It forces them to confront their own behavior, to fill the uncomfortable void left by the absence of reaction. In this way, silence becomes a mirror, reflecting the aggressor's actions back at them. A silent woman doesn't need to raise her voice to command attention. Her restraint speaks volumes. Importantly, silence allows space for reflection. It gives a woman the opportunity to process her experiences, learn from them, and grow stronger. When she shields herself with silence, she is not running from her problems. She is giving herself the time and clarity needed to approach them wisely. This approach fosters resilience, allowing her to remain grounded and composed even in the face of adversity. Ultimately, silence is not about avoiding confrontation, but mastering it. It's about knowing that not every battle deserves to be fought, and that true strength lies in the ability to choose your battles wisely. A silent woman's power is not in how loudly she can speak, but in the thoughtfulness of her actions and the integrity of her character. Her silence is her shield, and with it, she protects not just herself, but the values and principles that guide her life. Silence is not simply the absence of words, it is a tool of profound insight. For the silent woman, it becomes a strategy for observation, a way to understand the world and the people around her on a level that most overlook. In a noisy, fast-paced society, those who are silent are often the ones who see the clearest. They have the time and presence of mind to notice details, to analyze dynamics, and to uncover truths hidden beneath the surface. When you remain silent, you give yourself the advantage of listening, not just hearing, but truly listening. Most people speak to be heard. They don't speak to convey deeper truths or genuine intentions. In those moments of noise, a silent observer can pick up on subtleties, the tone that betrays nervousness, the hesitancy that suggests uncertainty, or the inconsistency in words that reveals a lie. Silence allows you to step out of the emotional current of the conversation and observe it from a higher vantage point. The silent woman uses this ability to her advantage, particularly in tense or complex situations. When others are reacting impulsively or vying for dominance in a conversation, she remains quiet, watching, learning, and formulating strategy. She doesn't allow her emotions to control her, nor does she feel the need to prove herself in the moment. Instead, she understands that knowledge is power, and that silence is her means of acquiring it. In professional settings, for example, a silent woman can wield her observation skills to gain an edge. While colleagues argue or scramble to showcase their worth, she is absorbing the details, the power dynamics in the room, the true priorities of decision makers, and the underlying motivations of others. When she finally speaks, her words carry weight because they are informed, deliberate, and backed by a deep understanding of the situation. Silence has given her the ability to see what others cannot, making her an invaluable and often underestimated force. In personal relationships, silence as observation allows a woman to see beyond what is said and understand what is meant. She learns to read the unspoken language of gestures, body language, and context. This level of awareness helps her navigate conflicts with empathy and insight, addressing underlying issues rather than superficial arguments. It also protects her from manipulation, as she is able to discern when someone's words and actions are not aligned. Silence is not just an act of withholding, it is an act of receiving. The silent woman opens herself to the truths that reveal themselves in stillness. She listens not just to others, but to her own inner voice, gaining clarity and wisdom. In this way, her silence becomes a source of strength allowing her to navigate life with a sense of confidence and control that others envy. It is not an admission of defeat, but a declaration of power. For in her quiet observation, she holds the key to understanding and influencing the world around her. Silence, when wielded correctly, is not merely a passive response, but a powerful defense mechanism against unnecessary conflict. For the silent woman, it becomes her shield, a way to diffuse tension, maintain her composure, and rise above the fray. In a world where words often escalate rather than resolve, silence offers a dignified alternative that allows her to preserve her peace and integrity. Conflict often thrives on reaction. When someone speaks out of anger, frustration, or a desire to provoke, they expect and feed off an equally charged response. By refusing to engage in this cycle, a silent woman denies her adversary the satisfaction of control. She breaks the rhythm of hostility, forcing the other party to confront the emptiness left by their own words. Silence, in this sense, is not submission. It is a deliberate choice to withhold energy from negativity. Consider moments of personal or professional tension. In arguments, people often say things they later regret, driven by the heat of the moment. Silence gives the silent woman time and space to process her emotions and thoughts. Instead of reacting impulsively, she reflects. Her silence becomes a pause, a buffer that prevents the situation from spiraling out of control. It allows her to respond, if she chooses to respond at all, from a place of clarity and reason rather than emotion. In workplace settings, for example, silence can be an invaluable tool for navigating disagreements or political dynamics. When faced with criticism or unwarranted negativity, the silent woman does not immediately react. Instead, she listens carefully, assessing the motivations behind the words. Her silence conveys confidence and self-control, qualities that command respect. It also allows her to identify the underlying issues and address them strategically rather than being drawn into petty disputes. Silence as shield also applies in personal relationships. When arguments arise, silence can serve as a way to de-escalate the situation. By choosing not to retaliate with hurtful words, a silent woman demonstrates maturity and emotional intelligence. Her silence can prompt introspection in the other person, creating opportunity for constructive dialogue rather than destructive conflict. It is a way of saying, I value this relationship enough to avoid saying something I cannot take back. Importantly, silence does not mean suppressing one's voice or opinions. It is about knowing when to speak and when to remain quiet. It is a recognition that not every battle is worth fighting, and that sometimes the most powerful statement is the refusal to engage. The silent woman understands that her energy is precious, and she will not waste it on arguments that serve no purpose or diminish her dignity. Silence, then, is both a shield and a statement. It says, I am in control of myself. I will not be provoked, and I will not lower myself to your level. It is an act of strength, one that allows the silent woman to protect her peace and maintain her integrity in the face of conflict. In a world dominated by noise, constant reactions, and immediate opinions, silence stands as a rare and powerful force. For the silent woman, it becomes an unparalleled tool for strategic thinking. When others are caught up in the whirlwind of impulsive decisions and hurried action, she uses silence as a moment to reflect, analyze, and plot her course. It is through this deliberate pause that she wins the battles others don't even realize are being fought. Strategic thinking demands clarity, and clarity cannot emerge in the chaos of endless chatter and external distractions. When a woman embraces silence, she carves out space to assess the situation without being overwhelmed by the noise of conflicting advice, criticism, or emotions. In silence, she can identify patterns, recognize opportunities, and foresee potential pitfalls. This foresight gives her an edge, allowing her to navigate challenges with precision and purpose. Imagine a boardroom setting where voices clash, each person eager to assert their dominance or push their agenda. In such an environment, the silent woman is not unnoticed. Her silence speaks volumes. It compels others to wonder what she is thinking, what insights she might hold. By choosing not to engage prematurely, she gains the advantage of observing the dynamics at play. She can gauge who is influential, who is overreaching, and who is vulnerable. This understanding allows her to intervene at the right moment with the right words and in the most impactful way. Silence also fosters creativity and innovation. When the mind is free from the constant need to respond or defend, it has the freedom to explore ideas and solutions that might otherwise be overlooked. For the silent woman, this creative space becomes a sanctuary where she can envision possibilities and devise strategies that are both effective and original. Her silence is not a void, but a fertile ground where ideas take root and grow. In personal relationships, too, silence can be a strategic ally. It allows a woman to step back and gain perspective, especially in emotionally charged situations. By refraining from immediate reaction, she avoids being swept up in the heat of the moment. Instead, she can reflect on her values, goals, and the outcomes she desires. This reflective silence ensures that her actions are aligned with her principles and long-term interests rather than short-term emotions. Moreover, silence serves as a test of others' intentions. When she does not immediately reveal her thoughts or feelings, she observes how others behave in the absence of her input. Do they show patience and respect, or do they become impatient and dismissive? This observation provides valuable insights into their character and reliability. It equips her with the knowledge needed to determine who is worth her trust and energy. Ultimately, silence as a tool for strategic thinking is about control not over others, but over oneself. The silent woman is not swept away by the tides of external pressures or internal doubts. She stands firm, calculating her moves with precision and intent. Her silence becomes her strength, a testament to her wisdom, patience, and unwavering focus. And when she does act, she does so with the power and confidence of someone who has thought deeply and deliberately, ensuring her victory before the battle even begins. In a world where voices often compete for dominance, silence can be one of the most commanding tools at a woman's disposal. To remain silent in the face of noise and chaos is not an act of passivity. It is an assertion of strength, self-control, and depth. For the silent woman, her ability to hold her ground without succumbing to the pressures of immediate response sends a clear message: she does not need to prove her worth with words. Her presence, rooted in confidence and composure, demands respect. When a woman chooses silence, it forces others to reckon with her presence in a way that speech sometimes cannot achieve. Words are often cheap, thrown around casually, inflated, or easily misinterpreted. Silence, however, is deliberate. It has weight. In her silence, a woman communicates that she values reflection over substance, over superficiality. People begin to notice the gravity of her thoughts, knowing that when she speaks, it will be meaningful and impactful. In relationships, silence as a response can recalibrate dynamics. When someone attempts to undermine, provoke, or manipulate, a silent woman does not grant them the satisfaction of a reaction. Her restraint communicates that she will not be baited into conflict or stoop to petty behavior. This silence, far from signaling weakness, showcases her emotional intelligence and strength. She is telling the world that her dignity is intact, and no amount of external chaos can unsettle her inner equilibrium. Consider moments of confrontation where emotions run high and words often escalate conflicts. Silence in such cases is a disarming weapon. It halts the momentum of the other party's aggression. They are left to confront their own behavior, unmirrored by defensive responses. This creates space for them to reflect, often revealing their insecurities or flaws. For the silent woman, this is a position of control not through dominance, but through grace. Moreover, silence amplifies perception. In refraining from speaking, the silent woman sharpens her ability to observe and understand. She notices the subtleties in others, the tone of their voice, their body language, and the gaps in their arguments. This heightened awareness allows her to navigate situations with precision. She doesn't merely listen, she absorbs, deciphers, and prepares. This creates a powerful advantage, as respect is naturally drawn to those who understand more than they reveal. Silence is also a boundary. It signals self-respect. By choosing when and where to speak, a woman demonstrates that her words and her time are valuable. She does not feel the need to fill the air with unnecessary explanations or defenses. People respect those who respect themselves, and silence is often the strongest way to claim that respect. Ultimately, the silent woman becomes a figure of quiet authority. Her lack of dependence on external validation speaks volumes about her inner strength. She stands apart from the clamor of the crowd, embodying a rare kind of dignity. Her silence is not an absence, but a presence of space where respect naturally grows, drawn to her unwavering self-assurance. In a world that often equates loudness with strength, it is easy to underestimate the quiet resilience of a woman who silently perseveres. Her strength lies not in overt displays of defiance, but in the quiet, consistent, and steadfast resolve to overcome challenges, no matter how daunting. This silent power is often mistaken for submission or fragility, but in reality, it is an embodiment of profound inner strength. Silent resilience means enduring hardships without broadcasting them to the world. It is not about hiding pain, but about choosing to process it in a way that maintains dignity and self-respect. For a silent woman, her battles are fought internally with a focus on understanding, growth, and self-healing. She does not seek pity or validation from others. Instead, she finds strength in her own ability to confront and navigate adversity. This quiet endurance inspires awe and respect because it demonstrates independence and self-reliance. Consider the resilience required to rise above personal struggles, professional setbacks, or societal expectations. A silent woman approaches these challenges with a calm determination, knowing that her energy is best spent on solutions rather than complaints. Her silence is not an absence of action, it is a channeling of focus toward progress. She builds her future quietly, brick by brick, while others might waste time explaining why their plans haven't materialized. Her results speak louder than any words could. Silence also creates space for introspection, allowing a woman to deeply understand her own emotions, motivations, and desires. This self-awareness becomes a powerful tool in navigating the complexities of life. When faced with adversity, she does not react impulsively. Instead, she pauses, reflects, and makes deliberate decisions. This thoughtful approach ensures that her responses are measured and effective rather than driven by temporary emotions. Her silence becomes a strategy, enabling her to emerge stronger and wiser from every challenge. Moreover, a silent woman's resilience inspires those around her. People are drawn to her stability and composure, finding comfort in her ability to remain grounded even in turbulent times. Her silence communicates confidence in her ability to handle what life throws at her. This quiet assurance is often more impactful than the loud declarations of strength we see from others. It shows that she does not need to prove herself, she simply is. Resilience also involves the ability to let go. A silent woman knows when to release what no longer serves her, be it toxic relationships, unproductive habits, or outdated expectations. She does this without fanfare or dramatics, understanding that letting go is an act of strength, not weakness. Her silence in these moments reflects her respect for her own peace and well-being, setting an example for others to follow. Ultimately, silent resilience is a testament to the power of inner strength. It is a reminder that loudness does not equate to power and that enduring with grace is one of the most profound displays of strength. The silent woman's journey is one of quiet victories, each one building upon the other to create a life of purpose, dignity, and unshakable resolve.